Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Truly Myrtle podcast. The Truly Myrtle podcast. I can see you online. Say hi to me in the chat. This is a live podcast, so you can chat to me in the chat box. And I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook. So wherever you are, find the little box. Give me a thumbs up. Say hi. And if you're knitting, tell me what you're knitting on, because I've got a lot of show and tell to tell you today. This is a show and tell show today. Hey Leslie, hi Janet, nice to see you. Facebook's always a little slow to come, but they'll be here in a moment, I suspect. I've started with the frog. The frog is here from the beginning. Hi Rachel, hi Sabrina, nice to see you. Let me have a good sip of my tea to try and defrog the frog. It's early in the morning. It's chilly, although I have got the door open. It's sunny. It's crisp. It's actually getting quite a bit colder, and every year I forget this. Every year I forget, oh, that's right. When it starts to feel like spring is peeping around the corner, spring is like, I'm here, I'm just waiting, I'm nearly there. When spring is like that, all of a sudden it gets really cold. So that's good, which is fantastic because I've been wearing jumpers and all my woolies, and I'm so thrilled about that. Hey Dawn, nice to see you. Hi Charmian. Oh, you're calling in from Australia today. Nice. Hi Barbara. You're also sort of frosty down there in Rangiora. If I miss you, I'm really sorry. There's so many of you. Christina and Kate and Pamela from Ottawa. Fantastic. It's nice to see you. It's chilly in Sydney. Oh look, there's so many of you up there. It's so nice to see you all. Frosty and sunny. Dallas, Texas. I bet it's not frosty and sunny in Dallas, Texas. Oh, Sharon went to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show. That was last weekend, I think. I would love to go to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show. I think I will try and do it at some point. I would just like to come over and do that in Australia, so I'll give it a bash. It won't be next year. Unlikely to be next year, but I hope I will come at some point. Hi, Susan from South Carolina, USA. Nice to see you. It's sunny and cold in Littleton. You're making a hat for your new grandson who was born on Monday. Oh, that's so sweet, Alexa. Congratulations. Christina's knitting her fourth love note. Well, I have got something to show you. My fourth Rita. Alex and Floozy on the go. Yay. 0.7 degrees in Australia. It's so good reading all your comments. Oh, yes, it's really nice. I'm just having a flick through so I can see you all. You've just labelled a new colourway, A Touch of Spring, Lynn. That's nice. Lynn Dice Yarn, fibre to go, she is. This is Michelle. Hi, Michelle. If you're on your husband's account, nice to see you. Good morning from Claremont, Western Australia. It's very heavy rain there. Look, we've had so much rain. And everything is totally saturated and boggy and terrible. I told you that last week. And we haven't, I can't even remember. Have we had much rain this week? I think it's been mostly okay. It's crisp though. It's really chilly. So you, in bed in the morning, you sit there and you think, oh, really? Do I really have to get up? It's so cozy in here. So that it's like that. In the evening, we have our fire going and we're all curled up and I'm knitting. Right. I've got lots of things to show you. And where shall I start? I think what I'll start with is my Rita, because I finished it. You know, the fourth one I was making, and I've got the yarn here because people have been asking me about the yarn. So I bound her off. I got her done. I just decided I finished up the knit I was doing for Wardrobe Toolbox, and I thought, okay, once that's off my needles, I've got a few things I want to just get done. And the first one was this, and she's so quick and easy. She doesn't take long to make, and I wore her yesterday, and oh, she's delicious. She's got that nice sort of slight bounce to her, quite a bounce to her. She's more dense than my pink one in terms of the wool, but she's so cozy. And I did her quite she's as cropped as the others, but because she's just slightly more fitted, you know, obviously I went a little awry with my gauge as I was going, but she is fitted through the bust and then just sits beautifully around my tummy area, and she's cropped off. I played yarn chicken with this one. I felt like I was. This is the fourth one I did. I'll show you the yarn I used. This is what I have left from my yarn. So let me just recall, in typical fashion, I brought all the balls, and I'm not sure where I put all the labels. And they're not here around me. I thought I had the labels. Okay, let's see if we can remember. This is Miss Babs, and this is a silk Polworth, I think, from memory. And someone sent me that. Thank you very much. I absolutely loved it, and I only have that much left. And I was getting closer and closer to the bottom, and I thought what I'll do is I'll knit the body first, and then I'll go back and do the bands and the neckband. And because then if I don't have enough yarn, I'll do contrast something. I'll sub something in. This yarn here, you can see it's got all these colours in it. So that in large part gave it the look that it has with all the different colours. And it's just mostly multicoloured. But I held it with, this was the next fattest one. I've got 5 of them here. This is the next fattest one, and this is a fingering yarn from Dreamfire, and I think it's their silk yak merino base. Can't have the label, but you can see it's quite a grey neutral, like a grey natural kind of colour, and so that lent a little bit of that grey background to it, and you can see it in here. So overall it has this sort of wash of a greyish colour, but mostly you notice all those speckles of colour. Anyway, I got to the bottom. That was fine. And then I thought, okay, what am I going to do next? Because this could be tricky. So I thought I'll do the neckband. And so I did the neckband next. And then I knew at least that would be done. And I thought if I don't have enough, I will do the cuff, these different colour. In the end, and then I thought I'll weigh it. And then, of course, I was sitting on the couch and I was like, can I be bothered weighing it? I'm just like eyeballing it. I think I've got enough anyway. I just went for it. And I just did my bands. And all the time I was thinking, oh, flip, I hope this works because I don't want to be ripping this out. Anyway, it did work. So I did both the bands and I got everything out. And now I've got that much left. And I was thinking I'd probably get a few more rows out of that. Maybe 2 or 3 more rows. And a little part of me thought, should I just undo the band at the bottom and just do a few more rows? No, I'm not going to do that. She's finished now. We're done. So that is what she looks like in the end. I'm so thrilled with her. She's one of those beautiful neutrals that has all of the colours that I wear. Burgundies and mustards, and there's sort of oranges in there, and it's lovely, 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 lovely. So I'm going to, she's just going to go over all sorts of things. Anyway, I wore her yesterday. And these are the other yarns. So I had this yarn, which is from Sweet Georgia yarn, and this is a lace weight. So this is a light DK. This is called a DK, but it's a US DK, so it was slightly lighter. So I put that with a fingering, which is like a 400 meters per 100 grams, which is that 437 yards or something. So those two went together, but this was a little lighter. So I had this lace weight, which is, a silk merino, just beautiful from Sweet Georgia. It's been in my stash forever. I just used one skein of everything. This was a giant 120 gram skein. So that's why I managed to get it out. Anyway, I did this for the lace weight. And then I also had this lace weight, which is a New Zealand one from Prosper Yarns. And that's one that's been in my stash for a while. I love this colour. I think it's called Goddess. And I thought that toned in beautifully. And it's got a bit of mohair in it, but not, it's got a tiny bit, it's like New Zealand mohair. It's not overly fluffy. It's really nice. So I had that one, and you can see it's picking up on, these are picking up on the tones in here. And at first I tried those, and it wasn't quite, my stitches weren't quite plump enough. So I grabbed this, and this is from Shibui. I don't even think Shibui's around anymore, are they? Did someone buy them in the end, or did they end up closing? I can't remember. This is Shibui silk mohair, lace weight, another lace weight. So I've got 3 lace weights, and this one is hardcore mohair, and so it's got real fluffiness to it. And I just threw that in, and I think it's given it just a lighter, it's just given it a wash overall. And the thing about it is that proportionately, because this mohair isn't so fluffy and this mohair is quite fluffy, the proportion of mohair to these others is quite small, and so it doesn't take over the fluff. Yes, it's definitely got a little bit of a halo, but it's not like one of those cardigans where the fluff comes out to here. It's not like that. It's just a little bit of a halo all over the top. You can see See, it's just got a little bit of halo. And so I thought, oh, that worked out quite well. That sort of gave me what I wanted. Anyway, she is fantastic. She actually would go quite well with my skirt. I've got my the linen skirt on today that I made last year. And so she'd actually look quite good over that too. So anyway, maybe I could wear her over that later when I get hot. Might get hot as the afternoon creeps on and the sun comes out. So, oh, you believe that Madeline Tosh has Shibui? Oh, that would be good. They're absolutely beautiful yarn. I do love Shibui yarn. Anyway, those are my 5 colours that I held together. I had a few people ask me what it was exactly so they could use it. And I think you're going to struggle to get exactly what I've got because, you know, this I might have bought 10 years ago. And this, I'm not sure if you can still get that. This was dyed, 6 years ago, something like that. So some of these have been in my stash a long time. And I think the best thing, what would I say, if you wanted to replicate it, is the main colour is dictated by the fattest one. And so aim for the fattest yarn being more or less the colours that you're after. And so if you want a motley look like me, then maybe choose a motley yarn like me that's quite motley. And then what I did was I just supported the colours in it with my choices here. So I just supported these, right? I didn't go for any bright gold, but you could. I didn't go for a sort of electric orange, but you could. I went for more of those. These are neutral colours. They're not black and they're not white, but those are incredibly neutral colours. And so they all go together. It just added to what I already had in here. Little tiny pops of purple, little bits of that bronze, and then sort of the grey tone. So I think if I was saying to you, that was the approach I liked anyway. A main colour that dominated, that gave me lots and lots of neutrals. So you could really use something quite variegated. But this is wool. It's lovely, and it has a bit of silk in it, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's from Miss Babs, I said. I can't remember the name of it. If I can remember, I wish I had the label. Sorry about that. Anyway, throw it together with some other neutrals to pull out what you love in it. I mean, if I'd gone for more oranges, it would be more orange. You can already see here that I've actually got, I noticed when it was blocking that some of the orange pops really pop out at the bottom. I sort of have this run of where I hit some oranges through here, and so that's just in the main yarn. That wasn't in any of the yarns I added, but these sort of really bronzy colours jumped out at me down there. So anyway, I'm pretty pleased with it. So that makes number 4. So I now have 4. I think that is pretty good. Is it Yowza 500 yards per skein? I don't think it is Yowza. I think I've got Yowza. It's a DK. I think it's Polworth. Is it Polworth? Have a little look. Yeah, beautiful colours on that, Rita. Yeah, thank you. I really like it. So, I think it'll be. She's just going to be one of those great things I grab. So now I've got 4 to choose from, which is exciting because they're perfect. Perfect in this weather. Absolutely love it. So that is that. That is all my bits and pieces. That is some yarn from something else. Anyway, what else did I have to show you? I've got other things to show you. Let me just look at your comments so I can see what you're doing. You're knitting the exact sweater that I'm wearing now. Oh, are you, Leslie? So this one is my Amelia cardigan, and she's a raglan. She's just a nice classic raglan. And the thing I like about it is that I incorporated a bit of mohair and a contrast color into the cuffs and the bands and the hem. And you can see down here, I've got that contrast through here. And then I used the little I-cord buttonholes. I love I-cord buttonholes. They see the I-cord that goes up the side has the buttonholes, and so you button into them. So you can get that sort of look through your cardie. And then I've finished her with a little piqué bind off, and that is through here. She's everywhere. She's got that little piqué bind off. So the I-cord doesn't, but the button side does. The I-cord is just plain. I just love it. She just gives it a little lift, a little bit interesting. So this is Amelia. Yeah, so she was a wardrobe toolbox pattern, and now everybody can get her now. On my shop, in my Truly Myrtle shop on my website, it's just you go to trulymyrtle.shop/Amelia. Easy to find them over there. And then also on Ravelry. Oh, Susan said she's falling in love with her stash all over again. Oh, that's so nice. That's really, really good. Okay, you're struggling with your yarns choice, Yona. For Rita, you want to wear it to Rhinebeck, but for some reason you can't make up our mind what yarn to choose. I guess I need to swatch. I would recommend just doing just a little swatch, because then you get a sense of it. It doesn't have to be big, and you can do, like I said, you can use the back neck, that part here, as your swatch if you want to. She's so quick. So Rhinebeck, when's Rhinebeck? Like October? You could probably make like 15 before then. Easy, and not really interrupt any of your other knitting. She's so quick. So yeah, but to choose your colors, you could just do a little bit and then swap out things, and then pretty soon just go with the one that, oh yes, I love that one. Go with that one. Ruth wore her Rita the other day. It's so cozy. Oh good, it just is a nice layer, isn't it? Yona, you're gonna oh good, Jess and Yona, you get together at Rhinebeck, and if you take a photo, you could send it to me. I'd love to see it. Frozen water pipes, Amanda. That is so cold. So cold. You're making 6 sweaters for Rhinebeck weekend. Oh my God, I bit off more than I can chew. You're in a good way. Oh, Yona, good on you. Okay, let's have a little look. Another crack cut all the time. Hi from Raywin in Sydney. Oh, Raywin, you poor old thing. Your arm is in a sling and no knitting for 3 weeks. That is really tough. You'll just have to watch knitting inspiration videos and be inspired and put piles of yarn together and make plans. I'd have to do that, I think. I don't know what I'd do. I'd have to touch all the wood now. That doesn't happen. Okay, I've got other things to show you because I've been busy making. I've told you before I was going to make that bag. I made the bag. And so I have already got, look, I've got them out for you. I've got 3 bags already. These field bags. I love these field bags. This was my first bag. I think this was my first bag. I think this was my second bag. And then I couldn't resist the one with the pattern on it. So over the years, I just collected these bags, just bit by bit. And I absolutely love these bags. They are really useful. I find them a great size. And they're quite nice if you're going out, because I can even put my purse in it, my glasses and my phone and everything. And I'm like, I can kind of just like hang on to this little bag. I really love them. I had never properly inspected one. That is funny, isn't it? How you've got them, you love them, but you don't look at them properly. And now I look at them properly, I can see it's just really interesting looking at them now I've made one, because I'll show you mine in a second. The thing about them, I didn't do all the features. I bought the pattern from Grainline Studios. They now have the pattern for the field bag. They used to be made by Fringe Supply. That she doesn't do anything anymore. So the pattern is now at Grainline Studios, and you can make your own. So I've had the pattern for a wee while, and I even bought a couple of kits to make the pattern, because I thought it'll be easier just to buy a kit. She isn't even in operation anymore. I bought these ages ago. She was in Australia, but I thought it would be easier to buy the kit, because then it just comes with the leather, it comes with the cords, it comes with the waxed canvas, which is what I wanted, rather than hunting it down and then getting all the pieces. I mean, I could have done that, but it was just easy. I just did something easy for a change. So anyway, inside, see that they're a nice little size. They've got a square bottom, and they stand up beautifully, and they are open. Now mine have been used, and so they're quite a bit softer now than they were originally. Inside, it has great pockets, has this main pocket, and it has 3 eyelets on it. And then on the other side, the pocket is divided into 2, but on one side it's got lots of little pockets. That's the side there. It's got these skinny pockets, and you can stick things in it. To be honest, I've never used those pockets, just like I've never used the eyelets. I like the big pocket. That is great. And I like the half-size pocket on the other side, but I don't really use the skinny pockets. So with that in mind, I thought, okay, I'm going to make my bag. And I actually sat down the other night, and I took my sewing machine inside because it was cold. I didn't want to come out here. I'd already cut out the pattern. I took my sewing machine inside and the ironing board inside, and I just sat at the dining room table and I sewed for a couple of hours, and I swore quite a lot because my sewing machine hated sewing this. But I made a bag. See, this is my bag that I made. So I've even put a label on it, and the label says made with love. And my daughter laughed and she was like, I think it was made with blood, sweat and swearing. And I said, I think you're right. That's exactly what it was made with, because she could hear me. I hadn't finished it by the time she went to bed. But it came, this is the colour I made first. This is the lighter of the two canvases that I got. It came with the cord, it came with the handle, and it came with eyelets. It didn't come with the label. I had the label here myself. And I don't think it came with cotton. Well, if it did, I could not find the cotton. So I had to find cotton in my stash that matched. And I did fortunately find some that matched perfectly, but I think it was really old. It's got a jumper in it. I'll take the jumper out because I'm going to show you that in a minute as well. But I'm actually thrilled with it. This has to be the most dodgy sewing I've done in a very long time. But now I've made it and I look at the other one, I think, actually, it's not so bad. I was surprised. I thought they'd be more perfect. In my head, they were more perfect. They're not perfect at all. So, but the challenges I had, look, I'll show it to you first. I left off the eyelets on the big pocket. I've got the big pocket. Oh, yeah, I've got the big pocket. Although my big pocket, I might have been slightly inaccurate with my measuring of the bag, because mine feels like it's a lot taller. Maybe it is. Anyway, I've got the big pocket on one side. Can you see that? There. And I kept, what they get you to do is they get you to fold over and put eyelets in and join things together. And I still kept that folding part, because one of the nice things about the pocket is that it's stiff. And so I wanted a stiff pocket that didn't collapse, and so I kept it stiff. So that side's quite thick. And then on the other side, I just did a seam down the middle. And so I have two pockets rather than all the little pockets for the pens. I don't bother. I just lie my pen in there, or else it's just in my other pouch. So I left those out. And otherwise, I did it pretty much all to pattern. My machine hated it. It hated it. It came with a jeans needle, so I have jeans needles, but I used the jeans needle. But I think there was a combination of things happening. One, my sewing machine, some of these is really thick, like this seam at the bottom that you do on the inside, which mine is ropey as ropey, but it works. It hated sewing over that. It even hated sewing on the pocket parts, and my thread just kept breaking. So I couldn't go too fast. And look, I can see here that that's actually skipped there. I've gone over it a few times. So some of these seams, I just thought this is like a dog's breakfast. Some of these seams, I just thought, oh no, they look, I like my sewing to be really neat and tidy. And it's a dog's breakfast. The thread just kept breaking. And I think it's because it's old, really old thread. I'm sure it is. It's on one of those little tiny bobbins that you probably get in a sewing kit that someone gave you once upon a time. It's the only colour. It was matched beautifully, but it was the only one that did. Anyway, I went slowly. I did my best. It managed some parts okay, like that bit at the top, but other parts. And I sort of forgot that this was the back when I was sewing, and I forgot that it would be visible. And so sometimes it would get all like, I'd get those little bird's nests underneath, and I'd think, oh, like that, and I'd pull it out and I'd snip off the little birds. Oh, it's driving me crazy. So I don't know, some of these seams are not good. However, and I remembered to put on the label just as I was getting to the end. Oh, I want to put the label on. I'll quickly ram the label in. So anyway, all in all, she's actually amazing. I actually love it. Now I'm done. I love it. I love the fact that it's quite deep. I think I've made it a bit deeper than my other ones. See, it's quite deep. It's ended up being quite big, and I love that. It's a beautiful stiff fabric, so it stands up beautifully. I adore the color. I love the yellow label. This cord that came with it is a little thinner than the original. I would have liked it a little thicker, but that's fine. It's very stiff to close, like that. But over time, and of course this is just, pristine and new, but over time as I use it, it will soften, and I don't think I will notice the seams at all. I think they will just fade into the grime of my hands and the oil on my hands. I think it will all just wear beautifully. So I'm pretty pleased with it, actually. I think, yeah, it was pretty good. I'm not going to make the red one on my sewing machine because the red fabric I have is even thicker. I have got an industrial sewing machine over there, and so I'm going to sit down and work out how I'm supposed to use it and get that all sorted and make it on that. That's going to be my challenge. But overall, it's pretty good. I thought the pattern was a little confusing in places. I think if I needed it to be dumbed down a little bit more for me, I think. Just a little bit more dumbed down, because there were times where I was like, am I supposed to be turning it in the other side? What side am I doing it on? It looked like it didn't say turn it around or inside out or anything. And your brain, if you thought logically about it, I worked out what I was supposed to do, and it's obviously worked. But I did have to reread the instructions and just think of it really carefully, what I was doing at each step. So I didn't think the pattern was... I think it was just if you're absolutely brand new, go very slowly with the instructions and really think logically about it. I did check against my bag quite often. I was like, oh, okay, well, how does that? Oh, I see, it's in there. Oh, I see, you sew it like that. And so I did check against the bag. If you didn't have the bag, I don't know, it might have been just me. It was the evening, I was a bit tired. Could have been just me. But anyway, overall, freaking love it. Love it. I'm so thrilled. Now I have more. Now I have more of these bags. This is really good. And I've got one more to make, which is red. So, oh, look, see, I sewed that seam a few times. I was actually thinking, do I go over and do some hand sewing over the top? I don't know. I'll see. I'll see how she wears. But it's very cool. I like it a lot. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, Lexa loves her field bags too. If you can't match your fabric, you can use a contrast. Yeah, I could have done that. And I did think about doing a white stitching. I thought, should I do some nice white, stitching, because it would look good with the threads and everything. And I actually had a white label. So I thought about that. And then I decided, no, I think I want it to be blue. And also I think if I had a slightly thicker thread, although I think might be fractionally thicker than what I have. I think it is just fractionally thicker. So I think if I had a slightly thicker thread, it might be nice. The eyelets are for stranded knitting. Yeah, I know. I've never used them. Even when I've done stranded knitting, I've never used them. So I just thought, I don't have a machine to bang the holes. It was just one step I didn't need to worry about, and I thought I'm just going to leave them out. Maybe I'll put them on the red one, because they do look cute anyway, don't they? And you can hang things off them, I guess, if you're really keen. Okay, lots of your projects come with a side of swearing. There was a significant amount of swearing. But yes, the eyelets are, if you have the eyelets inside, if you have lots of yarn, and you're using different colours, you can put it in here and then thread them through so they don't get tangled. Has anyone actually done that in practice though? Because it never struck me as a great idea. I thought, what if I what if I have a problem? Then I've got them stuck through the eyelets. I wasn't really sure. What thread did you use for your bags if you use canvas? Yeah, I just used sewing thread. But I think for the red one, well, I'll see what happens on the industrial machine. I'll get that organised. But I think if you had just a fractionally heavier thread, I think it would be good on the canvas. And it does look to me like that is what they've used. It's just fractionally heavier on these ones. Let me look at this one as well. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit thicker than your average sewing thread. I did change my needle, my stitch length when I was doing things that needed to be top stitching. But then in the end, I think that was causing me a bit of a problem. And so in the end, when I did the top stitching for this part here, I just went back to a regular short stitch. And that seemed to manage that okay through there. But yeah, anyway, trial and error. That is my muslin. That's my usable muslin. And now I've done it, I can make another one. PDF is $18 US. It's gorgeous. Yes, you get it from Grain Line Studios. The bags cost a fortune when they were out, so it is worth making your own. The canvas fabric must have been quite a challenge to sew. It was, Barbara. I did find it quite a challenge. It is. It's waxed canvas. This is waxed canvas. In fact, I made a little boo-boo. This is learned from my mistake. It said, press this. And so I was like, okay, I'll press it. And I pressed it, and then on my iron. And then Mr. Myrtle, because he has to wear a shirt on Wednesdays, he goes into work, and he started ironing behind me because I made it on Tuesday night. And he said, what have you done to the iron? And I had pressed my waxed canvas and it was on the bottom of the iron, so he had to wipe all the iron off. So I didn't press it after that. I just folded it and went like that, and that's actually all you need to do. You just go like that, and it has a beautiful fold in it, and you can get a ruler and you can just scrape up and down it. You don't really need to press it. So that is a lesson learned. Don't press it with your hot iron, otherwise it will melt onto the iron, but it's waxed canvas. After I saw the bag, I made one in tapestry fabric, says Lynn, and I lined it. I stitched in a ribbon with sections, not eyelets, and used the Singer treadle that sailed through the layers. Oh, fantastic, Lynn. That sounds really good. Oh, that sounds really nice with tapestry fabric. That'd be lovely. I think it'd be lovely. Cindy says, I have a Yuki 98E. I keep watching sewing podcasts with people with Yukis. I haven't come across the Yukis much before. It handles thicker layers beautifully. It's between a regular machine and a heavy industrial machine. Oh, okay. Your cat gets into your projects. You can tie it. Yes, you can tie it, and there's no zip to get things stuck in. There's a series on YouTube about making the bag. Excellent, Sabrina. That's excellent news. Okay, so if you're going to make it and you haven't got a field bag to check against, or you just want a hand, go to YouTube then and search up field bag. Apparently there's a tutorial there that'll walk you through it, so that is really good. Watch that. I would watch that with it if I was doing it again. It would have probably saved me a bit of time thinking, what am I doing now? What am I supposed to do now? Quilting thread. I think so. I think the quilting thread would work well. And you use the jeans thread for thicker fabric, says Jenny. Okay, well, that's the thing I think I need to do. Rachel is asking what machine I've got. I've got a Janome. It's still inside. I haven't taken it off the dining room table. It's a Janome, and I got it in the UK at John Lewis 15 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I got it a long, long time ago. It's a good little machine. I like it. I really do like it, but it just didn't like this fabric. Sewing the fronts with lining together always confuses me so much. Yeah, all I can think of is right sides together. I know. It was that part was like, okay, I'm sewing the front to the back. It's just getting your head around what it's going to look like at the end. Anyway, it all came together beautifully. I'm really pleased with it. I just adore the color. I adore this color. I love this color. Okay, so what was in the bag is the next thing I was going to show you. What is in the bag is a jumper that I posted on Facebook and Instagram yesterday, a picture of me holding this jumper, and I've done a bit more since I posted it. I've done a sleeve. I'm doing a sleeve. This is a new jumper that I'm going to put out, and I think it'll be out, I don't know, I'll get it off to the testers quite soon, and it's for everybody. It's not a wardrobe toolbox knit, which is why I'm showing you. And I had this urge for a jumper that was beautifully soft, like kitten soft. This is the kind of thing I want to wear now. I actually need to finish it so I can wear it right now. I wanted it to be super, super soft, and I wanted it to have a yoke and to be sloppy. I just wanted a jumper I can slop on but still feel like I'm not kind of sloppy. And so this is what I was thinking. And I've used this texture in it at the yoke here. It's quite fun. It's quite a fun little texture, and I'm going to pick it up again at the cuffs and the hem. That's my thought at the moment. I'm going to do a rolled neck band. I've started under the neck band because then we can pick it up, give it just a fraction more structure. It's got mohair held with a sort of sport weight, really, fingering, but I'll show you that in a second. And it is sloppy. So it's got these sort of fullish sleeves, and it will come down and cinch in, and it's got a lot of fullness in the body, and I thought I could just slop it on. It's a slop it on. I'm calling her the Baystone sweater at the moment. I think that was what I'll call her. I'm pretty sure. And anyway, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's whipping off my needles, and I have used a couple of yarns, which I'll show you. I'm pray for me that I have enough mohair to do the whole thing. Please, 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 because I seem to have used, actually that could be a similar one. I'm going to put that little scrap with that, because I think that goes with that. I have used, this is the base that I've used. It's called Alpaca Heather, and it's from Manos. And they actually sent me this quite a few years ago. Manos are really lovely. They're really, really lovely. They've sent me a little bit of yarn over the years, which is always fun to be getting yarn in the mail. And this one is Alpaca Heather, and it's their toast colorway. And it is 70% wool and 30% alpaca. So it has already got a tiny bit of halo, and it's soft. It's so soft. It is about 150 meters per 50 grams. So that's about 300. So it is a kind of a sport, but I think you can sub out a fingering. And the gauge, I think the gauge that I'm getting is 20-28. I think that's what it is, 20-28. 20 stitches, 28 rows. So I think you can juggle around a little bit. You can do a little bit of this to find the fabric that you want, but it has got a good whack of mohair in it. It gives it that lovely halo and that softness. And the mohair I bought years ago, a few years ago, and this is from Yarn Floozy, and it's Chai Latte is the name of this one. And it is full of pops of color. Essentially, it's another neutral. You know, it was funny because I think about a month ago, I was complaining on this podcast about how everything is beige. I'm so sick of freaking beige. So sick of beige. Oh my gosh, so sick of beige. But you know, I think within a week, I started this. Within a week, I thought, actually, I think I'm going to make something beige. So here I am, make something beige. But I think it'll just be a great one to wear over the top of all sorts of stuff. I think it's going to be a nice one, and it picks up the patterning beautifully. I think that's the secret sometimes with texture, is that if you want to see it, it can be nice to use a color that's not too dark, because then the shadows add to it and doesn't get lost in too much pattern. But you can see it's got pops of color that are popped through there. So it's interesting. It's like an interesting, there we are. See, it's got all the pops of color. So it just lifts it slightly. I mean, you could go wild, but I wanted something that I could throw on with a lot of stuff and feel just a little bit, cozy put together. Don't ask me how much yarn there is at the moment. I have got, I think I had 3 of these skeins, and I am coming to the end of my second one. I might have had 2.5. And so I'm just crossing all my fingers and all my toes that I have enough left in this and what I've got there to finish. And if I don't, I might have to secretly put in another mohair that you don't notice is different. And so we'll see. But I will, that's my aim. I think for my size, there are 7 sizes. So it's quite a sloppy jumper. So I've got a few less sizes. I haven't got proper yardage yet. I will come back to you with all of this. And I've got tons of this at the moment. So what have I told you? It's knitted on 4.5 needles. But that doesn't really matter for you. You just know, I'm pretty sure the gauge is 20 stitches. And I'm pretty sure it's 28 rows, but I could have that wrong. Rounds. And it's knitted entirely in the round. Okay, so you don't swatch this one flat. You swatch this one in the round. I thought I'd just show you, because it's always fun to show you what's on my needles. I will come back to you and I will tell you a lot more about it when I have more details and when she's done, and I'll show it to you, and I'll get it off to, get all the business done behind the scenes to get it ready in the pattern. But I'm thinking that I might try and have it out. What are we now? July. I might try and have it out sort of mid-September, late September, something like that. Oh, that's awkward, isn't it? Because Wardrobe Toolbox opens. I'll just see. I have to tie it up with lots of things that are also going on with Wardrobe Toolbox doors open, I think the very end of September. So if we could do it maybe mid, otherwise it'll be October. Something like that. It'll be out this year. It'll be out as soon as I can get it together. And I should have finished knitting it by the end of the week, I think. That's my plan. I want to knit it this week. And then I've got some other things I want to get on with. So that's exciting. Okay, what else was I going to show you? The last thing I was going to show you was I got a message. And I will come back to some of your questions. I can see there's a few questions you've asked me, and I'll come back to those next week. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, you can go to trulymyrtle.com/ask, and you can ask me your knitting questions, and I will show them on the podcast. I will answer them on the podcast. Next week, I can do a whole run of questions. And so I just had this comment. I think I got emailed this question. And Margaret says, I'm really interested in my Feathers Shawl. Do any of your podcasts feature it so I can hear you talk about it in detail? I was going to do it in a light cashmere blend. I live in the UK and I'm flying to my son in Abu Dhabi, and I want it as a wrap for the plane and going out in the evening, like a one wrap fits all. Anyway, I'm going to show you something else I forgot to show you. Remind me to show you this. Remind me to show you that in a second. I'll first talk about feathers. This is Feathers Shawl, and I designed this one in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter many years ago now. I love it. I love the yarn I used, which you can't get anymore. I loved, well, you probably can get the remnants of it. I loved the easy knitting of it, and I loved the details on it. I really enjoyed the details. She's one of those simple but very effective kind of shawls. And so she is just a long rectangle that you can just wear around you like this. Or if you made her, you can make her this size, or you can easily adapt her to make her to be quite a lovely stole. So if you want to wear her around your shoulders, oh, Leslie, she's made 2 of these. So it was a perfect for Margaret's idea of having a one size fits all wrap. Feathers would be perfect for that. I have 2 versions of feathers. She starts at the bottom. That's inside out. She starts at the bottom with a cast on, and then you go into this sort of ribbed repeat with the pattern but with a ribbing included, and then you just move into that repeat plain. And it's quite a short repeat, both in terms of stitches and rows. And so in terms, you just keep doing this repeat all the way through until you get to the end, and then you go back into the ribbing at the other end, and then you bind off at the other end. And she has just this nice, ends up having a nice little effect on both ends with a little bit of a wave. She's very pretty, and then you can open her right out with the lace. I think she'd be stunning. This is a woolen spun. I think she'd be stunning in a cashmere. Absolutely stunning, beautiful. And she'd be stunning. I've seen her made in black silk merino. Beautiful. I've seen her made in other silk merinos. She just gets that glow that comes with silk merinos. So I think, or anything with silk in it, stunning. Pure silk, stunning. Be beautiful. So the thing you could do about it though is you could have a look at the pattern, do your swatch, work out your gauge, and then you could work out how wide you want yours and how long you want yours. And making her longer is easy. You just keep knitting. I think what I would do is I would weigh my skein, weigh my ball before I started, maybe have 2 just to be sure of fingering, and then when I got to halfway I would know that, okay, I'm halfway, I'm going to do that number of repeats back the other way and the border, and I just will use all my yarn just to make sure you don't run out. Using the scales is really helpful when you're knitting, because you can work out a lot of things. It's what I should have done with this. I was thinking I'm going to weigh it, see how much I use in a round, and then I'll know kind of roughly how much I'm using in a round, and etc. And I didn't do it, but I often do. I often will weigh things. I would do that for this. If you want to make her wider, simply cast on enough stitches for another repeat. So in the pattern I'll have both a chart and written instructions, and so just count how many stitches are in the repeat. That's the part between the red lines, or the part in the brackets that you repeat over and over. Count how many stitches that is and add on a multiple of that to make it wider. And then you can make it as wide as you like. If you know your gauge and you know how many stitches you're casting on, you can work out how wide you want it, or how much wider than this, or narrower than this. And you could just make her very, very narrow if you wanted like a little skinny around your neck version. So I would do that, and then you can just keep repeating, like I said, weigh your yarn and keep repeating the middle section until it looks about right. The other thing you could do is you could just, when you get to the end of the ribbing, weigh your yarn, knit the ribbing, weigh your yarn, and then you know, oh, I used 35 grams for that, or I used 20 grams or whatever for this ribbing. And so when I get to have only that much left, I'm just going to keep knitting until it looks about as long as I like, less the border, and then I know that I've got enough left to finish at the other end. So she's beautifully adaptable, and she's simple to wear. I'm imagining that Margaret will probably want to wear her like this on the plane around her shoulders, because you know they have that cold air conditioning on the plane, and so she gives you a nice depth already with this depth, but she might actually want to make her wider possibly as well. And then with cashmere, it's so soft. This one doesn't have the drape factor that you'll get with the cashmere. I've got it again, and this is some of the Truly Myrtle Scholar, and it was the same but in a heavier yarn. So this is a sport weight yarn, and she's just so much bigger and so much longer in the sport weight yarn. So you can adjust the size by changing your yarn as well. You can go down to lace weight, it'll be smaller, go up to DKs and whatnot, sport, and it would be bigger. You could hold yarn together, be beautiful. So just think about the kind of fabric you want to make. This one is also quite woolly, and you might decide that I think I like it just with a lot of fluid and a lot of movement, in which case I'd steer towards some of those silks and rayons and bamboos and things like that, so you get a lot of movement in it. If you want to go uber cushy and squishy, you know, maybe incorporate some of that alpaca into it. Even a little bit of mohair would be nice. The cashmere, like Margaret's talking about, that gives you quite a lot of that real softness. So yeah, you can make quite a bit of adjustments. This one's very dramatic. I enjoy wearing this one. The contrast between the border, see how the shadowing really works beautifully in that. So the contrast between the body and the border is really strong, and you can this one I tend to wear like this, and I really just go for that big round the neck thing. I could either do it where I just throw it around and whatever, but I can often do this and I just knot her up. So she's super cozy around my neck, just beautifully cozy. I always feel quite dramatic when I'm wearing this one, and I'm heading out somewhere, and it's just, I'm really wearing knitwear now. That's what you think, I'm just really wearing knitwear. So yes, she's a good one. So hopefully, Margaret, that helped you with her, but I think she sounds beautiful in your cashmere. Think about how big you want it. Work out how you can make it slightly wider, and especially if you've got extra yarn up your sleeve. And then I probably just weigh the border. You could weigh it halfway if you have an idea, if you just want to keep using all your yarn. Otherwise, just weigh the border, keep knitting, weigh the border. I mean, that would be the same essentially, I guess, anyway. All right. Sabrina says, I've knitted feathers using Sikkim, which is a 4-ply single spun yak silk merino. Oh yeah, it turned out beautifully. That would be lovely. And the nice thing about Sikkim as well is it's a long skein. And so often that, I don't know if it always is the case, but that yak silk merino can be quite a long skein. And so you can just eke a little bit more out of the length or the width. There might be enough to have another whole repeat down the side all the way through. So that would be nice. All right. I think that is all the things I wanted to show you today. I think that is everything around me. Oh, I saw a question. Hang on a second. I saw something about socks. Everybody, I'm so pleased you all seem to be loving the Love Bug socks. And I feel like someone asked me a question about socks, and I just can't see it right now. Maybe it's quite close to the bottom. Oh, you showed a pink and blue socks. Can we peek at them? Oh, yeah. Not right now, Linda. I'll show you those soon. I have got socks aplenty coming for you in October, and I've got 2 patterns in testing at the moment, and I'm hoping to get at least one more to them quite soon. But I have got the socks. They're over there at the other side of the room, and I have got some really nice socks coming for you. These ones, one of them is toe up and one of them is top down. And I'll show you those soon, closer to the time, but just mark your calendar. October, we're knitting socks, Socktober. Wardrobe Toolboxes, you're also going to get something fun separate to that. But everybody who isn't in Wardrobe Toolbox, we're knitting socks as well. I wanted to show you this little tool, which I believe is called a bodkin. And this was the best tool to have when I was doing this very stiff fabric and I was pulling through my cord. This was the best tool ever. So the way you use it, it's like a giant fancy safety pin. You pin it, it's got little claws at that end, they're little sharp claws. So you pin it onto your cord like so, and then you slide, you probably are like, yeah, Libby, you're telling grandma how to suck eggs, and then you slide that little bit up. I've used this quite a few times. I haven't had it long though. You slide that bit up, and so it's attached, and then that is what you feed through all the way around. And it made this a lot easier, because I did try it with a safety pin and it wasn't stiff enough. It didn't work, and so this was much easier. It was a nice heavy duty, I believe bodkin is the name of it. Anyway, it's fantastic. If you haven't got one for your sewing kit, I thoroughly recommend it. Okay, everybody, I think that's everything I wanted to show you today. Have a really happy week. I'm so enjoying watching your Ritas come to life. I said we would have until the end of July for our knit along, and it is now the 24th, so there's about another week. If you have, that is so much time to knit a Rita. You can knit a Rita in a week, so if you want to cast one on, you're not too late. And we'll wrap up that knit along at the end of July. The socks are going, the little love bug socks, so those are going. They're out there and people are making these. It's lovely to see. If you can hold off making yours if you want to till October, or you could just get a pair done if you want. I mean, you can do what you want. That's the thing. But if you want to show us in the Hangout, we'd absolutely love to see those. And any other Truly Myrtle projects that you're working on, come and show us over in the Hangout. And that's at trulymyrtle.com. It's not that. Don't go there. Although I could make it a link there, couldn't I? But I don't. Come and find us on Facebook. It's Facebook, I think you say /groups/Truly Myrtle. But just search up Truly Myrtle on Facebook and it will pop up with the group. There's a page and a group. Join us over there. We love seeing you. Love seeing your pictures. And we have prizes every week. We give away free patterns to people that post pictures and start conversations. So if you feel like doing that, you might win a prize. It's nice to see the thumbs up. I love it when you give me thumbs up on my videos, and that is a good way of you saying, I'm sitting here in my sitting room and I'm listening to you, and it's yes, I agree. I want to make one of those. Or yes, I've got yarn like that. And then you could say thumbs up like that. Okay, everybody, if you want a reminder about this podcast, or if you just want to hear from me in your inbox, the best way to stay in contact with me is my mini mag. And if you head over to trulymyrtle.com/mini mag, then you can jump on my mini mag list and I will chat to you in your inbox. And I'll be in your inbox on Friday morning if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, Thursday night if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's nice. It's nice chatting to you, and you can just hit reply and chat back to me and I will talk to you. So that's always good too. Okay, everybody, I will catch you later. Have a really happy week. Do a ton of knitting. I surely am going to do a ton of knitting, and I will have more fun to show you next week. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody. See ya.